Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Episode number 8 of the Risk It for the Biscuit podcast. It is Monday, of course, and this episode is a little bit pre recorded. As I mentioned last time, I am on when this releases, I'll be in Singapore. Um, but yeah, episode 8. It's pretty late at the moment. I was supposed to be packed up, but I procrastinated, did not. So it's late, and I did not really even want to record this episode. I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just skip it. Um, but man, then I thought about it, and I almost got scared of skipping an episode. Um, because I felt like I made the commitment, and I want to stick to it. And so I'm excited. There are some major updates. There's only going to be about one or two more episodes of me just on my own. We are getting a co-host, so I'm excited for that. I don't know if I'm going to announce it anywhere, but we're getting a co-host. Probably going to have a producer producing the show now, and so it's going to be awesome. Slowly but surely, making some progress. And yeah, um, I don't want to talk about too many like current events at the moment for this episode. I think I'm gonna tell a couple stories, and yeah, we'll see how long this goes. Um, but I just want to start off, kind of just previewing, I guess, my trip to Singapore. It's a um, it's a trip that I'm actually really looking forward to. It's through my school, the university, and it's just an awesome opportunity. We're basically going to go and visit a bunch of businesses, international businesses. I know for sure we're visiting like FedEx. We're going to be going to where else? I think JP Morgan, big companies like that. Pretty much just visiting them, um, and also just gonna get to explore a little bit of Singapore. Um, for some reason, growing up, I did want to travel places, but for some reason, Asia it just seemed so far away, and I was pretty unfamiliar with it, and I never really wanted to go. But last semester, they kind of announced a trip, and I thought to myself, "Shoot, I've never been." Um, But if this is the opportunity to go with the school and kind of have like a program, and I don't have to really plan anything, I get to kind of just show up and go on this trip. I think that'll be cool. So I took the opportunity, man, and I'm excited. It's a long flight. We're gonna be flying. I think it's like 13 and a half hours, and then another 8 to get to Singapore. Um, but I'm excited, and I'm kind of mentally preparing for this flight. I enjoy flying. I enjoy being at the airport, but man, 13 hours. I'm gonna every time I go like on either like a long road trip or a flight, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna read a bunch of books and do some productive stuff. I end up usually just sleeping or watching movies, but we'll see how it goes. Planning on trying to balance it out and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, man, I'm excited to try some new food. Uh, I think that's like one of the biggest things. I was like researching a little bit about Singapore and whatnot, and um, you know, it seems like they have great food. Everybody I tell, or like to everyone I tell, I'm going to Singapore. Um, I've only heard good things. It's very like technologically advanced. It's a very like rich. I believe it's a city state. Very interesting place. I think one of the things is pretty much the way like the history of it. And I don't know all of it, but what I read, I think on Wikipedia or something, just Google search. But it like the way it got started, and it was like a pretty much like an experiment from what I understood. Like it was they wanted to see what would happen, and it turned into this flourishing city state, and it's really cool. I would encourage you to do some research on it. You know, I'll obviously tell more about it once I go. But I've heard stories. You can't do. They're very strict on laws. I don't know if they have alcohol out in the country, but for sure no drugs. Like I'm pretty sure drug dealers they get caught, they get the death penalty. Very very strict. I heard if you can't bring gum into the country. Like if you they won't let you bring it like I guess they check you or somehow, I don't know, but they won't let you bring gum into the country. It's a very, very clean place. I've heard stories, you can just walk out into the street, lay down on the street. It's clean and stuff like that. So I'm really interested. I'm very, very fascinated by it. People say the airport itself, flying into Singapore is cool. So I'm excited to check that out. There's a lot of cool stuff that I just seen on the internet, but obviously when we get there, we'll figure it out. And I think it's going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, man. I love traveling, obviously for the experience, being in different cultures and um, I mean, I love food, so I like trying new food and stuff like that. But I think traveling is, if you have the opportunity to do it, for sure to take it because it kind of gives you a reset. I feel like, we get into these r- rhythms and routines of just day to day life. And, we go to school, work, church, or whatever else you do. And, we're always around the same people and stuff like that. And it's good, obviously, but I think it's also good to take time and kind of reset and put yourself in a different setting with some different people, different experiences, especially if you can go international. It gives you a different perspective on life for sure, and I just think it's good. I think it's good. It's a good thing to do. We take care of a lot of things. You read to get smarter. You go to school to get smarter. You pray to spiritually and be close to God and to hear from God and to have a relationship with God. We work on things like this, right? We work on our bodies. We eat healthy, work out, all that stuff. And I think traveling is a way of kind of expanding yourself and kind of growing yourself as well. So I think it's awesome. And for some reason, like I said, I never really wanted to go to like Singapore or like Asia. Um, but when the opportunity presented itself, it excited me, and I just can't believe it's already happening. It's already March and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. Pretty much two other things, and yeah, like I said, I'll touch on more next week when I get back. Um, and man, I'm actually just excited to be doing this episode. Like, it's very late right now. It's like 2 in the morning for me, and I got to be up like 6. And I was thinking, I was like, it's just whatever. I won't do it. But man, I stuck through it, man. I think this is gonna be a cool episode, or cool to look back on. When we're at episode 100 or whatever. That I kind of just stuck through with it. But anyway, I keep rambling. I want to talk about two specific things, um, two kind of stories that I want to tell. So about actually, yeah, it has the date. It's 2020. Um, I watched a YouTube video. He's in the finance space. I really like him. He seems like a very level-headed dude and very smart. He's young and kind of very, very, very smart. And his name is Nate O'Brien. If you don't know him, he's in the finance space and makes content about finance, personal finance, things like that. And I watched one of his videos, and I would say it kind of really helped me. Uh, he, I think, was outlining like steps for success or something like that. And one of the things he said you should get a notebook, right, or like a journal, and just have that with you, something that you can journal in, you know, every day, and or not every day, but he said to just to have that habit of journaling. And he said you can write anything down, right? And I forget how, but the way he explained it, man, it just hit with me. And he was like, because I've tried journaling before, and like writing stuff down every day, but it was like that pressure, like, oh, I got to write something down every day, something down every day. Um, but he said, look, just take a notebook like this and put your last name and the year, right? And work on filling up this notebook. Um, and you don't have to take the pressure off yourself. You don't have to do it every single day. You don't have to write a summary of your day. Just whatever comes to mind. Something you can change it up every day. And if you miss days, don't worry about it. Just have this journal. And obviously, I haven't been writing in it that much. I started this one in 2023, 2023. Um, but man, this thing, I think the habit of journaling, or just the habit of putting pen to paper occasionally, and having one place where you can keep it, it's very powerful. And I've just experienced that in my own life. There was moments like when I started this book, what I first started writing, or this journal, what I first started writing down was just like to-do lists or like ideas that I had. I would just jot them down and stuff like that. But then there was times, a couple days, couple weeks where I was kind of just writing down summaries of my days, um, and what happened that day, right? Like what I was feeling, what I was going through, and what I was looking forward to in the future, stuff like that. Um, and one of the reasons why I did that actually is because I realized at a certain point, I think it was 2021, I was like, man, I'm just like forgetting stuff. I can't remember, and it almost scared me. I'd sit down at the end of the week. I'm like, what did I do this week? What did I do Monday through Tuesday? And I just couldn't remember. And I was busy and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to be able to look back and be like, oh, okay, I remember this day. Because life goes by so fast, and it's like if you're just always doing stuff, staying busy, you don't know what's going on. Like, what's the point, right? So that was cool. I think those are going to be cool moments to kind of look back on. I guess later on and just kind of see. It's kind of the same thing as like doing a podcast or creating content. It's like you can look back on it and you have like this archive of memories. So similar to the journal, and I'm thankful that I kind of got on it, and just the way Nate explains it, it's like very simple, and it takes the pressure off of it. So I enjoyed that. I would say the notebook, this journal, it definitely. First of all, I found a really good one. I think it was at Target. Obviously not a not a sponsorship or anything, but I just like it. It's very durable. It's like a leatherish type of material or something. But this journal actually got me through college, bro, for real. Because it like just the way I would write down, what I have due coming up. I created like the system that I write in this journal, and man, it really helped me stay organized. And as I'm finishing college, I'm like, man, I gotta find a way to implement this into like my daily life, and especially when I go on to work and things like that, I gotta find a way to sit down and to plan stuff out in the journal. And one way actually, one little trick I used to to consistently write in the journal is I stopped putting it in my backpack. I think I forgot my pen, but I stopped putting it in my backpack. So what I would do is I would go to class, and this would be my backpack, and I would um, pull it out whenever I need to write stuff down. But what I started doing is just carrying it with me everywhere, right? Like when I'm going to class, when I'm going to work, I just carry it in my hand so it's easily accessible, and things like that. I can just flip to it whenever I need to. And I try to make a habit whenever I'm working, I leave it open, or whether I'm in class, whether I'm at work, I leave it open because I have due dates on there, and I can whenever I'm working, I can refer back to it and see what I got coming up. Okay, when I complete it, I cross stuff off, I make notes. So just little stuff like that, and man, it just makes such a difference. When you keep everything in your head, you forget stuff, you get unorganized, but when you're writing stuff down, and man, it's just so satisfying to like check things off. Okay, did this assignment, made this phone call, did this, blah 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 blah, and you're just seeing the progress. And when you see the page fill up, and you're marking all that stuff off, it's uh, it's really satisfying, and it kind of motivates you, encourages you to keep going. And part of the reason why I kind of wanted to bring this up and really talk about it is I'm finishing up this notebook. Um, and it's kind of a cool moment. Um, and part of my plan was, recently, of course, I've just been using this for school and just writing down due dates and whatnot. But it's coming to an end. Like I'm running out of space, and my goal kind of was to pretty much finish it up in Singapore. Just take a moment. Of course, I'm gonna be busy and going on visits with companies and things like that. And just whatever. I mean, we have a schedule and stuff like that. But my goal is take some time, really sit down, kind of reflect on things, and kind of just finish up the journal. Um, and when I get home, probably just grab a new one, and continue on. And with this little strategy, I just wanted to share. I found it very helpful. It's a very very simple, I guess, habit, but man, it's incredible, like how much it's actually helped me stay organized, and things like that. So I just want to continue moving in that direction with it, and just kind of wrap it all up in Singapore on my way or while I'm there. And so, yeah, shout out to Nate O'Brien if he ever sees this. Uh, it really helped me, your little advice, and thankful for it, man. Um, so, yeah, man, that's the whole thing with the notebook. It's just a little story. I thought it was cool. I wanted to share. Um, Another story that I wanted to share, I think I mentioned it when I first started the podcast, but if you know me, if you follow me on Instagram, if you just know me in general, we're friends, or you see me on the internet, whatever, you know that I'm a New York Jets fan uh, for the football team. And if you know anything about football, you know that the Jets have not been very good. And so oftentimes whenever I meet people or, I just introduce myself and, start talking, whatever, or I wear my like Jets hoodies or shirts or whatever, the most common question I get is, man, why? You know what I mean? Why are you a Jets fan? And it's a kind of a, to me it's a cool story, um, and of course for some it's actually interesting. The older I get, the less I kind of care about like sports, which is weird because I grew up like a very big sports fan, and it's kind of weird witnessing myself change in that way. Um, but yeah, man, it's a being a, that's who I am, man. I'm a Jets fan, and just to get that out the way, like I'm not a. It's not because of Gary Vee, okay? So that's not, I'm not trying to copy that whole thing, business and Gary Vee and all that. I'm not trying to be like that. I was a Jets fan before I even knew Gary Vee, but I think it's a cool story. And so basically, it all started off uh, kind of in a weird, unexpected way, I would say, because basically, when I first started following football, I was actually a Chargers fan. Because what happened was, if you remember the PSPs, right, the PlayStation Play or the PlayStation Portable, right? The PSPs. I think we had like Madden, either like '08 or Madden 10 or something like that on the PSPs. And we always played with the Chargers because at the time, LaDainian Tomlinson was the greatest running back. And I mean, I was a huge LaDainian Tomlinson fan. I had like a couple of his rookie cards when I was a kid. I lost them. I wish I would have kept them. Probably could have, had a pretty solid card there in his rookie card. But anyway, we played on the PlayStation PSP with LaDainian Tomlinson, and we only ran one play. I think it was a halfback counter to the left side, and that's all we did repeatedly because he was just a cheat code in the game. All you gotta do is run to the outside, touchdown every time. And because of that, I just fell in love with the Chargers, and uh, so I was a fan of the Chargers, and I think in 2009 or 2010, one of those years, the Chargers play the Jets in the AFC. I believe it was the divisional round, like after the wild card, maybe it was the wild card, whatever. They play the Jets in the playoffs, and the Jets beat the Chargers, and it was like some weird way. Like I remember watching because I was so like devastated. I wanted the Chargers to win the Super Bowl so bad. I had Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, LaDainian Thompson, stacked team, stacked roster, and the the Jets come in and they beat us. And I was like, man, that sucks, whatever. And then the off season, and I always forget this if it's an easy Google search, but I don't remember if either LaDainian Tomlinson was traded or he was signed. I believe he signed though as a free agent. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure the next season LaDainian Tomlinson signs with the Jets. And I'm like, man, like how could that happen, right? Like your favorite player and your favorite team, the team that just beat us in the playoffs, you're going to join the other team. I was like, man, I mean that was devastating as well. So, but I was like, I'm gonna stick with the Chargers as a fan. I'm gonna stay a Chargers fan, loyal, right? And then I think what happened was the season starts 2010, and I think this is Sanchez gets drafted, and and I think the Chargers start off bad, like they under 500, but the Jets start off good. I mean, I was like 10 years old, so I don't remember all the details. But something I was like, I checked. I was like, okay, you know what? LaDainian Tom's on the Jets. I'm gonna be a Jets fan now. And of course, 2010, 2011, back to back AFC championships. It's exciting. You know, I love it. And then if you know the history, whatever, for the next 10 years, they've been horrible, right? We can't find a quarterback. You know, roster's all weird. Our owner's gone half the time, stuff like that. And, but yeah, man, ever since then, I have been a Jets fan. It's been I bought in at the very, very peak of two back-to-back AFC championships, and uh, kind of rode that wave for a decade. And it's been a brutal decade for me, I guess, growing up. um, but it's really weird, man. It's like you kind of almost identify yourself with that team, like in life. Like it's like you know, kind of following them, hoping they're going to get better, hoping they're going to get better, always kind of like the underdog or whatever. And, but man, and I guess recently, it's been tough too. We draft Zach Wilson. Um, and the whole Sam Darnold thing, I thought Sam Darnold was going to work out. That didn't work out. We draft Zach Wilson and thought that was going to work out. Personally, if any Jets fans watch this, I think my hope is that Zach still works out. I'm not selling my stock on Zach. Part of it is because I have so many of his rookie cards that I spent so much money on. So I'm optimistic and hopeful. But um, yeah, I hope he works out. We have a great young core with Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. AVT is going to come back. I'm also hopeful for Mekhi Becton to figure his stuff out. We got other wide receivers. I hope Elijah Moore pans out. I don't know about the Nathaniel Hackett. That's going to be interesting. Um, and of course, the defensive side of the ball. I think we're balling, and so it's exciting, man. The future looks bright. I feel like for the Jets, and yeah, man. I mean, if we can get Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, I think that's definitely an upgrade. My ideal plan as a Jets fan is to go ahead and get Aaron Rodgers 1 2 years, help Zach Wilson develop and buy some time with him, and kind of go from there. I would say, but we will see. We will see. That's kind of just a story. Uh, people that I meet and stuff, they always ask, "Why Jets fan? Why Jets fan?" And so I kind of just wanted to um, get that out there, and yeah, hopefully the Jets can turn it around, and hopefully we can see some good football. It's crazy, man. We got like I think it's already like 180 something days till football comes back. It's so weird how the older you get, time just seems to be moving so much faster. Like I can't believe it's already March of 2023. I can't believe that, you know, I'm about to graduate college. I feel like I just graduated high school, man, and time is just moving so fast. Whenever you're a kid, people tell you that, it's like as you get older, time just moves on faster, faster, faster. And as a kid, you're like, yeah, yeah, I got all the time in the world. But man, it really does just move so fast. Wild, really wild. I'm excited though. I think the future is going to be fun, and we had a lot of things planned, content wise, and just life wise, work wise. Um, but yeah, man, I'm be done with school. That's gonna be a wild feeling to be completely done with school forever. It's almost like I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Like it doesn't even seem real. Um, it literally does not seem real. I don't know what it's like to be a student. I mean, to not be a student, like with a classroom and everything. And that was actually, if I want to do like whenever I graduate, talk about school and just my experience overall. Um, but this is one thing I've been realizing, and maybe if you're deciding on whether you should go to college or you should, not go to college, maybe pursue something else. Here's my advice as someone who went to college. When I was coming out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, and especially with the whole social media ification, if I can use that word, it's not a word, but the whole like entrepreneurship, hustle, grind, kind of culture and message that people put out on Instagram. Um, they kind of encourage you, hey, just pursue your dreams, just start a business. It doesn't matter what if you don't know what you're doing, just start a business and you'll figure it out or something. Like that's kind of like the theme I get. Grind, work hard. But coming out of high school, um, I didn't really have that desire. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And um, of course, I'm not saying there's anything bad with, pursuing your dreams and stuff like that. But the thing is, I didn't have like a business idea that I was willing to just put it all on the line for and just risk it. I didn't have that, right? So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had to just make the best decision, right? Because I was like, time's going to go on. Um, I just graduated high school, so I'm used to going to school. So my options were, just get a job and just start working because I wasn't interested in doing anything else, or just go to school. And what I saw school as an opportunity was you're just buying yourself another 4 years to figure it out. Okay, because if you don't go to college, you go to your Thanksgiving, Christmas, you talk to your friends and everything, and the question is, hey, so what's up? What are you doing? Right? And the pressure's on, especially depending, if the people around you are entrepreneurial, right? Like my parents, your family, um, people around you your age or maybe already started businesses and or whatever they're doing, right? They're finding success. So the question, you're gonna start feeling this pressure. Man, what am I doing, right? Like I gotta kind of pick it up and go. I gotta kind of get situated with my life. Feel like this pressure. But what I feel like for me personally, going to college, it just bought me another 4 years to figure out what to do. Right? Whenever people ask, oh, so like, what's the plan? What's your plan? Oh, I don't know. I'm still in school. I'm figuring it out. I'm still in school. To me, that was a good decision. And again, I'll go more into details of my experience at school when I graduate. That's I kind of just want to let this thing right out, and then I'll go back and really digest it. But I'm saying if you're deciding between not going to college and going to college, and you don't really have anything else set up or planned out, man, just and one thing I would say, the reason also another factor why I went to college because it wasn't that expensive. The school I went to, it wasn't that expensive. I had scholarships. Um, because I had a good enough GPA in high school and things like that. So financially, it made sense. I didn't know what else I wanted to do with my life, and as a business decision, I said, "Hey, I'm just buying myself a little bit more time. It's inexpensive in comparison. I commuted. I lived from home. I mean, I lived with my parents. I commuted, so I saved money there, and I just bought myself 4 years to kind of figure out and just be a student and to learn. And I mean, look, and now I'm graduating. The time went by pretty fast. Was it fun all the time? No. Was it fun to have due dates and things like that? Absolutely not. Does it take time? Of course. But listen, those 4 years are going to go by, and they're honestly going to go by pretty quick. And so, I kind of look around, and there's some people that they're like, oh, well, I'll just take a gap year and just kind of work. And now we're the same age but I kind of have this section of my life of like getting a formal education. Now it's going to be kind of fully behind me and I can go work and pursue things that I want. And so that's just my advice. If you're deciding, should I go to college? Should I not go to college? If you have the opportunity to go to college inexpensively, um, flexibly flex and the option is flexible. I would say close to your house. You're not putting in like and of course it depends. Obviously, if you're going for nursing or law or whatever, I was just going for business, just general. But it's good to have a degree. I feel like, and like I keep saying, I'll talk more about my just overall experience. But man, if you're don't waste time, because I think about the flip side. If I don't go to college, I'm still doing the same stuff I'm doing without going to college, right? I'm just working part time, or even if I was working full time, but I wouldn't be making as much money. And I'm not. 100% sold that my degree is going to make me that much more money. Um, but yeah, I would just be. I mean, I still hung out with my friends. I still went on trips. These 4 years. Um, I was still doing ministry these 4 years. Um, yeah, sure. There was times where I couldn't go on a trip or I couldn't stay, somewhere just because I had class the next day or I had to study or something like that, and you had to stay on top of due dates and things like that. But but yeah, I mean, 4 years went by and we're finishing up. And honestly, I never really cared for school. Like I went to school like just because it was for me it made sense as the better decision. Um, but now that I'm kind of like at the point of where I'm almost done, I'm kind of proud of myself, honestly, because it wasn't easy to stick it out. My journey through college was not easy. I took a lot of extra classes. I went through a lot of different like life changes um, throughout this college, throughout my time at college. Um, Life changed a lot. We went through COVID. I took summer classes every summer to stay on track. Um, I failed classes throughout COVID. I dropped classes because I couldn't just do it. I just could not do it online. Um, I really did overcome a lot of challenges, like to me, that were actually difficult. Um, when the war started in Ukraine, I mean, I thought I was just gonna drop out. It was such an emotional like toll. Like I didn't think I could do it. Made it through that, man. Made it through, you know, all this stuff, and now like, hey, man, I'm pretty much a month away, a month and a half, man. Once I get back from Singapore, it's 6 weeks, man. 6 weeks, and got stuff we got to finish strong and whatnot. But man, like it's crazy. And to think that, you know, the difference between that and not being done is just saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to. I wasn't excited. You know, my whole life plan was to. I was supposed to play basketball. That was in my dream. That's the reason I was gonna go to college, but I didn't have that, and I wasn't too interested in school. I only applied to one school. I got accepted to it, and I went. It wasn't, a big crazy process. I never had that desire. But I'm looking back and I am pretty glad that I went. I can't lie. I'm pretty glad that I went, that I kind of just struggled through with it. And man, it feels so good to know that I'm done. Um, and yeah, I definitely want to kind of go more into details, and I'll have my co-host by the time I graduate, so we'll be able to kind of talk more about like our experiences with school and stuff like that. And I'm really excited to have this. When you see the co-host, you'll know. I don't want to just keep it a secret, I guess. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for this episode. Um, just wanted to share a couple stories and just give a little bit of updates on all that's going on, and just kind of give a glimpse into the future. This episode is more about just me being committed to this, to the podcast, man, because uh, it could have been very easy. I go to bed early, so it could have been very easy just to kind of mail it in and say, well, make an excuse. But nah, man, we did it. We did it. And that's a win for me. Um, that's a win for me. I guess if you watch this full episode, like, leave comments, subscribe, and yeah, man, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Hope you guys have a blessed week. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.